Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singers, songwriters, and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest has a haunting, powerful voice that has been compared to Bono and Adele. As a solo and along with her band Mistral Storm, she performs throughout the Vancouver area. As a 2024 semi-finalist in Canada's Music in Motion competition, judges described her as a musical force to be reckoned with. So, let's spill the tea with Monica Gregory. Welcome, Monica.
Oh, thank you, David. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know it's early in the morning for you. You're coming to us from Vancouver, British Columbia, 6 a.m. your time. So
Yeah,
thanks
it's
very much
early.
for getting up.
It's a five espresso morning.
Well, we appreciate you getting up early to do the interview. Let's talk about the Music in Motion competition. There are hundreds of people that apply to that competition, and uh, and a couple of things that came out of it were judges' comments, and also others that have talked compared you to some pretty powerful voices. So we want to talk about all of that. First of all, let's talk about the competition, Music in Motion. Shout out to Barb Keck for putting that competition on. She's producing some opportunities for amazing artists. Tell us about your experience with it. How did you get involved with it, and what was your experience along the way?
Well, it was a bit of a fluke because I thought I was just starting to put some new music on from my latest album on Spotify, and I thought, well, I should probably start to promote it, and I just threw it in, not thinking of anything. I was quite surprised when they called me because they'd emailed me a little bit, and I just thought, oh, that's just that's not for me. It's just for the promotion, and then I realized, oh, I actually was placed as a semifinalist. I actually didn't expect that. But it's been really wonderful. Barb's been fantastic. It's been a tremendous opportunity. I am going to be recording with Michael Hansen, and he's been lovely as well. I'm just really surprised and really grateful for the opportunity.
I wonder with those kinds of competitions how it does, I won't, catapult is not the right word, but certainly some opportunities come up. So you mentioned, doing some work with Michael Hansen. So without the competition, do you think that the opportunities that have been offered to you, do you think that you would have eventually stumbled on those opportunities,
Oh no,
or did the competition certainly help?
the competition really helped. I mean, there's so many talented people. If you're around music for a long time, there's so many exceptionally talented people.
Mhm.
No, I don't think that would have happened. I would have done what I've done for years, and that's I record, and then you kind of hope you make your money back and that kind of stuff. So I've been thrilled by what's been happening. It's just really really great.
The judges were very complimentary about your voice, and of course, I've listened to your recordings as well, and they are spot on when they describe your voice. You've been compared to Bono and Adele. How do you feel when people compare you to another artist?
Well, I'm flattered. I think it's really nice to be compared to people who are so accomplished. And I mean, I love Bono. Bono's like just phenomenal, as is Adele. I mean, as a vocalist, when you look at people like that, it's something to aspire to. Just because singing is really not just singing. If you're a vocalist, there's so much more that goes into it. It's shaping the sound and really trying to capture
Mhm.
the emotion of the music. And people who do that really well, like Bono and Adele, they're just it's really it's nice for people to say that. And I don't know, I don't know how else to respond to that. I'm just it's very kind of them to do that.
I have to say, I didn't hear Bono in your voice, but I certainly heard Adele.
Uh,
That's that's for sure. You do have an amazing tone to your voice. When you have that kind of tone that is compared to another artist, how do you make it your own? How do you make your tone and your sound and your songs your own, as opposed to people saying, "Oh yeah, sounds like Adele," but really you want to sound like Monica?
Yeah, and I think that's something that comes naturally because I certainly can't sound like Adele. Adele is her own thing. And for me as an artist, I'm just my own thing. I couldn't really mimic Adele in any decent way, or any other artist. I just have to do what I do because I have the limitations of who I am as an artist. And I think mimicking people, you know, it does a disservice. Like when I worked in when I played in bar bands and you do cover tunes, you know that you just don't do the music any justice because the people who've already recorded it and the reason it's so popular is because of the artists who've actually done that already. So
Mhm. You come from some music in the family. Your grandma played the violin. You
yeah.
have a cousin that's a violinist,
Yes, it's spectacular
and
violin.
you studied music up to a relatively high level,
Somewhat.
grade 8.
Grade eight.
But you have a little story about why you only studied to grade 8. Because I asked you in the pre-chat,
Um,
so why not go to 10th level with Royal Conservatory? Why'd you stop at 8?
I'm just not that good. And there was a time factor. No, really, I'm not. I do keep when I do keyboards for the band and everything. I do very simple things. Playing and singing at the same time is it's challenging. I'm still trying to find a keyboard player. Yeah, why I didn't go on? It's grade eight. I think was about the best I could do, honestly.
You have a band that you play with.
Yeah,
You perform as a solo artist and with a band, Mistral Storm.
yeah.
I'm always interested to find out how people come up with the names of their bands.
Ah,
It's not Minstrel, it's Mistral Storm. So
Mistral, yeah.
how did you come up with the name of the band?
Well, I didn't. It was actually the wife of our viola player with my last iteration of the band. And they're from France. And in France, there's something called a Mistral wind that happens
Hmm.
in the summer. And she was saying, "Oh, I know what you could call it Mistral." And it was a Mistral storm. And I thought, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that works. That works." But what we didn't realize is it's a name that can be mispronounced and misunderstood in many, many ways. So it was really, we thought it was really cool because it was so unique, but it can be minstrel storm, it can be other things. So yeah, that's
I'll have to run that one by my French wife and get her
is she from France?
interpretation. She's a Canadian, a
Okay.
francophone, but spent many years in Paris on business.
Oh,
Let's talk about the Vancouver music scene. It's one of the major music areas in the country, of course. Montreal and Toronto and Vancouver. Let's not leave out the east coast of Canada as well. But what's the music scene like in Vancouver? Are there lots of opportunities for artists to perform?
yes, yeah, there's actually, I think, even increasing in the last so many years. There's a lot of um, open mics. And what's so great about Vancouver audiences is they're very open to original music.
Mhm.
When I was living in Alberta, it was a bit more, it was quite a few years ago, but the original music scene was really tough to get into, and the venues were actually quite limited. Whereas here, there's a lot more places to play, and we're very excited about that.
When when I go to open mics or when I go to any kind of performance, I really enjoy hearing original music. And if somebody's playing covers, I'll go and ask them, like, do you have an original one that I can hear? How does that make you feel when people appreciate your original music as opposed to covers?
It's really rewarding. It's nice to be able to create music that people enjoy. Um, it's really nice when they when they come up to you and they're moved. I always say to the band, we haven't done our job unless, when you're playing at the bar or the club or whatever, you haven't done your job until everyone puts down their drink and they're listening. That's kind of the bar for me. But it is really rewarding. It's nice when people connect emotionally with the music, or they say, I've had this really hard time and this music really resonates with me. That's at the end of the day, I feel that I've done my job as a musician, is to help people connect emotionally and kind of process things. I mean, that's the beauty of music. It's really what your soul could say if it could talk. There's just nothing like it.
It has been said that people fear public speaking more than they fear death. So I can only imagine where it ranks to get up and perform in front of people. And many artists say, I'm really an introvert and I have a lot of, stage fright and I have performance anxiety. It sounds like you had as well.
Oh, it's terrible.
How do you deal with the performance anxiety, and why do you put yourself through this, night after night when you get to the stage is, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do this, and you do it anyways.
You know what? The only way to do it, because I love the music and it's the music that sort of motivates me to go to that next step. And the only thing you can do is just push through it and just realize that's just part of the game. It's part of what you have to do. I've tried deep breathing. I've tried all kinds of, things, getting in the right emotional state. And, the only thing that has helped the most is to realize that I have something to give the audience. And so then it stops being about me and it starts being about them. And that's probably the thing that works the best, but I'm not as good at it. It's like, oh no, let's let the rocks come, but that's the one thing that helps probably the most, is you just take the focus off yourself and take the focus on the people that you really, as a musician, you're serving people, you're giving them something, so that helps sometimes.
You are one of the artists that has another profession in the medical field. You're a medical professional. So do you have a psychological diagnosis for this condition that you have, where it's something that scares you so badly, but you still do it?
I don't know. It's a special kind of insanity.
And it's reserved for musicians and artists.
Yeah, or people who do public speaking, anything where you have to stand up in front of people. I mean, I shouldn't. Audiences are actually quite forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you'd call that for a diagnosis. It's just, anxiety, social anxiety. I don't know. Performance anxiety, I think, is the official term.
Let's get into one of the songs that Monica wrote. This song was released in May of 2024 and produced by Andreas Schuld. Let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Monica Gregory and her song, Some Roads You Walk Alone.
You're a fire burn in the shadowland, broken heart, broken down, you can barely stand. It's a winter's night in your weary soul. You can't rest or protest what the darkness stars. Search for answers in your cacophony, void of love, void of peace. You can barely see all that ever so to the final thread, waiting still to fulfill what the truth is said. See the wisdom of the ages, feel the brush strokes of the angels as you pour out your heart up to God and the stars in the night sky. with your brothers free. They prevail the betrayal like an enemy. See the wisdom of the ages. Feel the brushstrokes of the angels as you pour out your heart up to God and the stars in the night sky. Don't want to walk alone. Don't want to walk alone. Yeah. Don't want to walk alone. Some roads you walk, some roads you walk. I believe it, I receive it. Help me bear it all. See the wisdom of the ages. Feel the brushstrokes of the angels as you pour out your heart up to God and the stars in the night sky. Someone to walk alone. Someone to walk alone. Yeah. Someone to walk alone. Ooh, someone to walk alone. Yeah. Someone to walk. Some roads you walk. Some roads you walk. Some roads you walk alone.
That was Some Roads You Walk Alone by Monica Gregory. Monica, I listened to the song. I read some of the background on it. What is that? Tell us what that song is about, and what was the inspiration to write it?
Well, the song is really about sort of the universal experience that people go through when they're going through probably some of the most difficult moments of their lives. Because, people say, hey, you're not alone, all that kind of stuff. But, you're all by yourself when it's just you and your chemotherapy, or when you're grieving. There's a lot of stuff in life where you actually do just walk alone. When I wrote this, it was sort of when I write songs, there's just an emotion that just kind of percolates over time, and then it sort of gets born. But one of the things that started it, I was having a really, really hard time, and I found myself under a tree at 3 o'clock in the morning, just crying my eyes out. And I was all by myself, and you're all alone in your difficulty. And there was a husky that came by. A guy was walking his dog at 3 in the morning, and the dog came by and started licking my face. The guy didn't even know I was there. And I remember looking up in the sky, like, God, you got it. Like, you just really just pour out your heart in the moments of such desperation. And from that sort of stuck in my mind. And then over time, you recover from terrible things. People are remarkably resilient. I found myself, I didn't think I could be resilient, and I found I was far more resilient than I ever thought. But over time, there were different things that happened. And one of the things that I sort of drew from as well, there's a thing by Andrew Lloyd that called Joseph and His Technicolor Dreamcoat. And the story of Joseph, his brothers are horrific to him. They basically, beat him up, they throw him in a dark hole. And I thought, well, that dark hole, that's really kind of that alone feeling where you have no one else except really to pour out your heart, to God and the stars in the night sky. Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's what I was doing. And so that partially spiritually worked into the song as well. So that's kind of where it came from. And over time, I started to hear it, and then it's like, okay, it's time to throw it down, because like I say, it percolates and then it's born. I get the lyrics and the music all at once, but it's always kind of brewing in the background.
Monica, how do people find out more about you and your music? What's the website, socials, and the streaming platforms?
Yeah, what you probably want to do is just go straight to the website. It's Monica Gregory Musician, and then anything else you want will be there.
We have been in conversation with Monica Gregory. Monica, thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You can't run